This is the new leader of the nation of Niger, General Chiani, who just led a highly successful coup to remove their president, Mohamed Bazoum. But take a closer look. What's with all the Russian flags flying in their Nigerian stadium? Why are people celebrating Russia right along with this coup? Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot professor, and the nation of Niger is on a nice edge as we speak. Just days ago, members of the Nigerian military staged a coup ousting their president, Bazoum, who was elected 2 years ago in Niger's first democratic transfer of power since they gained independence from France back in August of 1960. Now, they're staring at the very real possibility of a military intervention by a coalition of neighboring nations. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, put forward an ultimatum to Niger: either restore President Bazoum to power or we will take matters into our own hands, which of course includes the threat of a military intervention. Needless to say, the deadline for the president's return to power has now passed, and the junta remain defiant. They have now closed the nation's airspace until further notice, citing precisely this threat of military intervention. And along those lines, the nations of Mali and Burkina Faso they're also ruled by juntas. They've also expressed their solidarity with Niger. They've sent officials to the country and are openly declaring that an attack on Niger is an attack on them all. But perhaps the single most fascinating development in all of this is that the army that may be fighting any military intervention in Niger isn't from Africa at all. It's being widely reported that the Wagner forces, the ones that were at the center of the recent paramilitary mutiny in Russia, are indeed on their way to Niger to help bolster the defenses. The day following the coup, Wagner's charismatic leader, Evgeny Prigozhin, openly celebrated the coup and offered the assistance of the Wagner forces. And that now offer appears to be something that the military leadership in Niger is going to take him up on. Prigozhin said that Wagner could restore order and help eliminate terrorists to protect the Nigerian population. Now, what's so fascinating about this offer is that it amplifies what scholars have noted to be the growing internationalization of Wagner forces. So what's surprising to many is the realization that Wagner isn't just a paramilitary organization, inside Russia, specific to Russia. Wagner has actually gone global. It's a global force dedicated to basically helping to topple governments that they see as puppets of the woke West and that stand in the way of a new conservative, traditionalist, civilizationalist world rising up. I mean, you're not going to believe this. But first, guy, how many UFC fans do we have out there? We know the one and only Donald Trump is a huge UFC fan, as are the fighters of him. But have you ever wondered what they do to manage their pain? Well, you don't have to wonder, because a fellow patriot and a good friend to this channel is precisely the one who provides relief to that pain, and he's here to do the same for you. We all know that as we age, aches and pains are normal, but they don't have to be, and that's where the groundbreaking medical scientist Clint Winters comes in. Now, you've seen Clint on Fox, you've seen him on this channel. He's a world-renowned health expert who's unveiled a natural pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. It's called CB2. It's the 100% drug-free way to get full-body pain relief without dangerous meds, and it is the official pain reliever for, you guessed it, the fighters in the UFC. And the best news, CB2 has no documented side effects after years of private testing. It's absolutely the future of pain relief. So whatever you do, gang, make sure to click on the link below right now and check out Clint's amazingly informative report on how CB2 is changing lives by providing safe and powerful relief at a fraction of the cost of pain pills. Click on that link below right now. What's happened is that Prigozhin has established a complex global network of affiliated companies, most especially in the continent of, well, you guessed it, Africa, as well as the Middle East, most notably in war-torn Syria. And these affiliates go beyond mere military exploits. In fact, one project that Wagner supports is called Magadan, which is basically an opinion influencing campaign that seeks to debunk and denigrate NATO talking points throughout Europe, Mexico, and of course, Africa. And as you can see, it seems to be working. As we've been covering now of the last several weeks in this channel, many African nations are beginning to turn their backs on the woke West precisely because they see wokeness as an extension of imperial colonialism. It's the attempt by Western powers to impose a moral, or in African terms, a radically immoral system that was devised in the West and is being dictated to the African continent. And populations revolting against this like never before. What Wagner affiliates are tapping into here is a massive trend that's absolutely exploding throughout the African continent. We've talked about it in other videos. It's known as PanAfricanism, where more and more African leaders are calling for the expulsion of European political and cultural influences left behind from their period of colonialism. And they're seeking instead to cultivate a uniquely African civilizational world. And as you can see, it's an incredibly vibrant movement, one that Western globalist elites are frankly very concerned about, especially in terms of the attraction that the movement has towards the rising neo-Orthodox civilizational state of Russia. For Africans, Russia is seen as a model for how a nation can rebuild itself into what scholars call a civilization state, which is something that's catching the bullies in Brussels and the dolts in D.C. completely off guard. Russia is successfully expanding its influence based not on political demands like the dolts in D.C. or the bullies in Brussels are doing. Russia is not seeking to influence by making other nations more politically liberal. Russia is spreading its influence through a common attraction to civilization and cultural conservatism. Cultural conservatism is the wave of the future, particularly in the two largest continents on the planet. Russia's emphasis on traditional moral values and the centrality of religion in civic life, together with its resistance against Western woke colonialism, has made Russia a powerful ally for the rising retraditionalism that's permeating the African continent. Africans are increasingly seeing themselves far more in solidarity with the traditionalist vision of the world coming out of Moscow than with the absurd woke world coming out of D.C. and Brussels. And now that solidarity may translate even to a very real and very active military alliance. So obviously we'll be keeping a very close eye on how things develop in Niger and throughout this volatile and rising continent. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.